Hello stream and also hello YouTube. Uh, I'm bored, so I decided to spend my money on some stuff. Uh, I bought a stack of Riftborn boulders with what little money I had left, and then immediately after I bought it, I got a speed belt off of special Gabidal key. And I was like, okay, that used to be millions of gil, what was it worth it? And then I found out that it was selling for around a mil, so I put it up and I got it. It sold like right away. This speed belt, from what I read, it you synthesize it with a lot of other expensive drops, like some of which can only be found in Vagary, which are millions of gil in and of themselves. And you synthesize the speed belt so many different times to move it up a few levels at a time until it's at capped level, and it turns into what's called Tempest Fugit, and that item sells for about 6 mil right now. So it's a little bit higher than the 800k, but you would need to buy the speed belt and then the synthesis materials, so you're looking at about 6 mil to make the belt if you're lucky. If you don't break, you can get it crafted. At this level, I think everyone like succeeds with their craft. I don't really see Tempest Fugits breaking in Lower Juno or anything. But yeah, so like I moved all of my gold into these boulders and then recouped my loss with the belt that I just got from a Gabidal key. And I only bought the Gabidal key because I was almost capped on my accolades. I've been playing a little bit, going on what, 24 hours straight kind of right now, but yeah, if you might notice I'm a little tired, but yeah, my sparks and my accolades were pretty much zero when I started playing 24 hours ago, and I capped them. Of course, in between now and then I did have a gain XP event, and I did, of course. Did I say I played 24 hours straight? I lied. I played games 24 hours straight, but I stopped playing Final Fantasy and then played Magic for a while. I like Magic the Gathering. But anyway, back on track. I was capped on the accolades and the sparks, so I was like, okay, I need to just drop some of this stuff out so I stay under the cap so I can keep generating if I'm going to keep playing. And I'm just casually playing, right? And I just get these accolades and these sparks while I'm casually playing. And I have a lot of records of eminence set on repeat, so 29 out of 30. I mean, I could put some more on here, but it's just like random stuff that I do, and sometimes I'll go in and I'll set the daily stuff, but when you're this close to cap, it's like whatever, I don't even care. So I got the accolades and I bought a key and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna see what I get. And then I randomly got an 800,000 gil rare item I could put on auction house. I was pretty excited. I looked at it and I was in a Skype call with a friend of mine, and I was like, Doug, you remember back like when level 75 was the cap? If you had gotten a speed belt then, that was like 50 million gil or whatever. It was expensive. And then I was getting into a chat with him, and we were talking about some other ridiculously high-priced items in this game, one of which is Kraken Club. I had a guy asking me about Kraken Club recently, and I checked Auction House because, I've been camping Auction House like a fucking crow, and I told him, I was like, there's one on auction that sold today, literally today, right before you logged on, and it sold for 50 million gil. But I wouldn't expect more than like half that for a Kraken Club. Like I would come off of a Kraken Club for a lot less than that. 50 million gil's a really steep price for an item that's outdated. I mean, straight up outdated. There's no reason. I mean, what are you doing, leveling club? You're gonna spend 50 million gil leveling club? Now maybe possibly there's a craft that synthesizes a Kraken Club into a higher level Kraken Club, but I don't know the legitimacy to that. That's a possibility though. Kraken Clubs are fun, but they're not 50 million gil fun. I was saying if I had the 50 million gil, I would have probably bought a speed belt back in the day, not a Kraken Club. But again, I didn't play Dark Knight and I didn't have the Kraken Club and Riddle combo. Matter of fact, I still don't have a Riddle. I don't, and I fought the monster that drops it, and I was so upset that I didn't get it. I'm like, oh my god, I just wrecked this monster, and he has no chance of beating me anymore. But I waste my time, and I don't get the drop, and I'm like, even if I got the drop, what am I gonna do with it? And it's just like, put a style piece or something so I can wave around a riddle instead of like a whatever the heck sword I'm using. But most of my stuff, I like my daggers, so I wouldn't skin the sand dung. It's really cool, and the Evitam's pretty cool too. It's got some nice little curves and some glyptic kind of stuff going on. I like it. It's really cool. In fact, I'm going to show it off a little bit. Yep. So, welcome to my mog house. It's not my mog house, I lied. I'm renting this place. It's not mine. But welcome to this Moogle's mog house, and I'm just chilling, and I have been working on my thief, and I just found out that I can actually solo Ambuscade. I knew that I could, but I didn't know how hard it would be or how difficult of a time I would have on any of the settings. So I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I tried it. I played it on easy, and I won the first try. And I was kind of multitasking the whole time, setting up like OBS and my Twitch and everything on this machine. I'm playing on an Alienware 17 right now, which is the one that came out towards the end of 2015. And I literally just picked it up this week, and I bought it with my tax return, so I'm trying it out. It's like any gaming laptop, will get really warm, but it's nice. It's a sweet laptop. So, I mean, it just depends on what you want out of a laptop. I've got a MacBook Pro that never gets warm. It's amazing how cold it stays. But this guy's okay. It's not too bad. Currently, though, I'm looking at my inventory here, and I'm seeing that I have a lot of stuff that that I don't really use, and I want to try to tuck it away. So I think what I'm gonna do is find some room in one of these storage areas, and they're mostly full. It's kind of inconvenient because they're mostly all full. Let's see. I might have some area. Okay, look at that. That sack's like 30 out of 80, so I could put some stuff in here. I'll do it. It's gonna be equipment, so like I'll want to be able to grab it whenever I need it anyway. So the Candroma -1, I've decided that I'm actually gonna entertain myself on Thief, and I'm going to use the Candroma -1 and do all of the trials. I'm on 3647 right now, which is the first one you start with. I know the number is confusing, but if you play this game, you'll understand this system. And yeah, I'm gonna get Ruger's Storm with it, and then probably throw it away after that. I'm not even gonna hold on to it. I don't even want it. I just want the Ruger's Storm. I told my buddy I could get it, and he's like, "No, you can't. You're a gimp-ass thief." And I was like, "I have posts on Facebook showing my screenshots of me doing more damage without Ruger's Storm than players that are Master Thief status that are doing Ruger's Storm." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is my thief, and I can do better than Ruger's Storm with Shark Bite and probably Incinerator." I did a 20k Alien Edge earlier, but I will admit it was with a Primeval Brew, so that doesn't really count. But yeah, it was a nice damage output. I'm glad to know that I actually can hit that number if I need to. And interesting story, it was on par with damage output to all of my other weapon skills with the Primeval Brew factored in. I not really had much time to play around with Primeval Brew, but it caps all of your stats, and I figured maybe there would be some differentiation between the damage and all these different weapons, but there's not. It's all it's all about the same 20k for me, currently anyway, for dagger weapon skills. I think if I stacked it with like some other modifiers, I could get close to the 100k cap that we have. It's 99999, but I don't expect to do that on Thief. I'm hitting so many times that it would be broken if I could do that much damage with an ability. Not to say that I wouldn't want to. I would love to do that amount of damage, but my record right now is I think about 18k, which I didn't actually take a screenshot and put on my Facebook page. Those of you who know my Facebook, it's /overgryph, so OVERGRYPH. I will type it here. And there's also a page that a lot of you guys might have visited already if you're watching these videos and such, which would be hold on, would be the Facebook group FFXI-Lakshmi server. So I think this is the Facebook group's name, and you could check it out, and it will show you a lot of stuff from a lot of players on Lakshmi. A lot of my friends tell me that my offline friends tell me that Lakshmi's not where it's at. Like, that's not the best server. I've played the game, and I've played on a lot of servers or whatever, and I've played on this server and that server, and these servers are, I think, better. All of us have like mythics, and like every player in our link shell has 3 mythics. You know, I've heard that story today, and I was like, okay, that's a good link shell, but that's not necessarily a good server. You know, just because one link shell on your server has 3 mythics each, that just means that they spam salvage. That's all that really means. Like, you could just farm Alexandrite. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Good job. I'm proud of you. I was just idly helping a new player in Dynamis earlier today, and just casually poked an NM in Dynamis, got 100 piece. Casually. Just like, whoops, 100 piece. But then again, I have been working on my Thief and my Treasure Hunter set for a long time, so I make it sound easy because it is easy for me, not for necessarily any other thief. But yeah, I casually poke this guy, and he dies, and I get his I got the stagger on him, and I got his 100 piece. I was like, okay, that's great. I was here 30 seconds, and I get my first 100 piece. Okay, next. So I go around the corner, right, and I hit another NM. I don't even stagger this one. I really don't. He doesn't get weakness triggered or anything. He just instantly dies and drops 100 piece. I'm like, what? I've got some of them on auction house right now, actually. But you know, if you've seen my inventory, I actually do hold on to a lot of 100 pieces. So I've got like what, 50 of the wand silver pieces and like a couple bine and jade shells, but you know, I'm just working on all of them. Eventually, what I want to do for funsies is to put in my bazaar all of the 1,000 piece coins that I can get, or 10,000 piece coin. Yeah, it's the 10,000 piece, whatever the hell the currency rate is. The blue bordered one. I'm going to put one of each in my bazaar, and I'm going to put it at capped kill. 999s all the way across. And it's just going to sit in 3 of my inventory slots until I get bored and decide that I want to use it on something. I'll probably never give it to anyone. Just for the record, though, if I do find out that the servers are getting reset at some point for like maintenance periods, not like reset like character wipe, but any maintenance period where the servers are getting put offline, those are the times that I like to play with the auction house prices on the price history. And a lot of players do the same thing, by the way. So don't screw us over if you're on our server and it's maintenance time, and don't be sniping those currencies at maintenance time, because I will be selling to myself just to put myself in the auction house history at some point. I'll do that on a lot of stuff. Just, you know, if I find an item that I have that hasn't sold this year or ever, I'll put it in the auction house, and I'll put some fancy price tag like 420 or like 777 or something on the price history, and I'll do that on these items that I collect. So you guys that are looking at the price histories on FFXI or yeah, it's this website. This website right here. Sorry, this is a new computer, new keyboard. I'm having trouble figuring out the key layout, but yeah, you go to that website and you can see prices on stuff. Or if you're on the game and you play and you see the prices and you see my name, I'm excited. Pleased to meet you. I probably did that during maintenance, like right before or after maintenance, and I got lucky because I was like one of maybe 8 people on the server, which has happened before. I've been like the last dozen players to log out, and I had like a solid 10 minutes to play the game. I was like, okay, this is cool, and we're never really that dead. Like, if I look right now, if I just look at the server right now, what do we have for players? This is 4 in the afternoon. We are in between primetime Japanese play and primetime English play, American play. I know there are other countries that play this game, but not as heavily as those 2 countries. And the Japanese have probably gone to bed, 4 hours ago, I would think, And when they were on earlier today, it was about 800 players, I think, at cap, 700-ish, something like that. We're definitely in downtime. I'm not in downtime. I like to use the downtime to play the game and do events that are normally laggy during like primetime hours, which Ambuscade is one of them. They've made it easier now that not too many people are doing it since they've farmed it all month long. They're probably sick of it. I'm not sick of it. I'm having fun with it. I've paced myself, I guess, which is another way to say I'm lazy and I didn't grind it out in the first week and a half like all the other pro players did. So I don't have the full HQ set. However, I do have the Totalis' cape maxed out. Totis, how do you say this? The T cape, which is your Thief Ambuscade JSE. And it's the first Ambuscade event, so these are the capes that they came out with. And my theory is they'll keep doing that, but they'll change the HQ sets that you can actually buy with the total points, the total hallmarks points. But look at these stats, man. These are the augmented stats right here, which means these aren't even on the item until you put them on the item with just lots and lots of Ambuscade fights. So what you normally get is you get a back piece that's got 16 defense, which is pretty solid, and you get sneak attack plus 10, which is good for Thief, and triple attack damage plus 20, which is good considering I have augment triple attack gear here. This is actually my triple attack set. The necklace is wishy-washy because it's only double attack, but I think it's okay. And then I've got some dual wield because that's important. Triple attack effect, some subtle blow because I don't want to feed TP, right? Which is another reason. Oh, that has store TP, not subtle blow, but that's okay. Store TP is also good. Yeah, and then I got some triple attack here, and I got some triple attack here with some accuracy and some dual wield and some dex, which is all good for sneak attacks, wombo combo. And some triple attack here. This was expensive, by the way, and a lot of work, but I did it, and I made it, so I'm excited. So you guys are like, oh, Swift Belt, that's awesome. You got the Swift Belt and sold it for 800k. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to hold on to it when I have the Selfie Belt plus 1, which is the Unity equivalent to the Swift Belt and the level 119-ish belts that they have. So this is top tier belt right here. Yes, it does not have plus 16 whatever haste that the new belt does, that Swift Belt turns into when you fully craft it. Yes, that is true. And yes, it also is lacking in the defense department, which I think the other belt has like plus 15 defense. But understand that I'm a thief, and also that I have enough belts to like give the entire alliance a belt, basically. So I don't even really need more belts, but I do like the belts that I have, and I like this for the triple attack set. I actually gave a friend my Wind Buffet belt just to prove a point. That the Wind Buffet belt, yeah, it's not that expensive, but it's at a comfortable price range for a player getting back into the game to actually afford. But I still decided, you know what, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna play with it and see if I like the quadruple attack, because it was the only item at the time that would give me quadruple attack. So I was testing that on Thief, and I was like, I don't like it. I have so much haste and so many other things that I don't even really notice when my next attack phase starts. So my quadruple attacks, when it did proc, it was hardly noticeable. As a matter of fact, I didn't notice any difference at all. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna play with this belt anymore. I'll just put on something that's a little bit more rounded out. You know, like the haste and the triple attack on this is solid. The attack plus 10 to 15 is a solid number as well. Substitute that out for the defense, because guess what, guys? If you're playing Thief, you're not getting attacked. You're going to be attacking. So you want the attack and not the defense anyway. Just throwing that out there. So yeah, when I play, I'll put this on. I like it. And I'm really excited that I have it because it's got a white border, and if you know me, I like white borders. I'm gonna try to get like bordered out everything, but I think there will be items that are top tier that are not gonna have a +1, like this Totalis' cape. The +1 essentially is the augment that you add to it. So yeah, I've got these nice little stats, sure, but then I put the points into the cape and I come up with these nice little stats. And if you're an elitist prick that plays Thief, you're going to look at that and be like, okay, I understand that it's a weapon skill macro piece, but are you sure you should have done weapon skill damage plus 10% and agility plus 20? Why didn't you just do like some other buff, like critical hit damage plus whatever 10% and then dex plus 20? Because you're going to use it as a macro piece, and when you're using a weapon skill, it's usually stacked with sneak attack. Yes, you elitist prick, I understand this. I do understand this. But what you need to understand is I'm working on a weapon skill damage set to decide whether or not, just for science, to decide whether or not that buff is superior to other buffs if you stack it in, say, the plus 40% range, which is what I'm working on. So that's what I'm looking at to see how much more damage. And I'm thinking, just for those that are curious, that it's about 500 damage for every 10,000 damage that you deal with, like, say, a shark bite landing for 10k. You get about 10.5 with 40% weapon skill damage plus, and that is a lowball estimate, obviously. So keep that in mind. You might actually see a couple thousand added onto it, but every damage point counts. Like if you're trying to solo or kill something before it starts just destroying your party, or before your mages run out of MP, which is what you typically run into, especially when you're soloing with trusts. You will run into the issue where your red mages are on convert cooldowns and they cannot get any more magic, so you are out of tempo and for several minutes. And so if you had dealt that extra damage earlier, then it might be a non-issue, you know. So that's what is important, and that's why I'm building this cape as a macro piece. But I actually main this cape almost all the time anyway. I'm constantly weapon skilling, like every few seconds I'll do another one, so it doesn't really get flashed out for anything, because there's no other belt that's superior in stats. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't have another belt that has the sneak attack and triple attack damage buffs like that. The triple attack damage buff alone is worth never taking this off, unless of course I need an evasion set for tanking. But even then, it's just like I have I don't know. I just don't know. The agility here kind of adds evasion. If we look here, I'll do a check per am. It should be about like 10 evasion, something like that. Maybe 5 to 15 evasion that will change. This 979 here will probably change. So when I check after I take the cape off, it should probably drop. Okay, so it's 969. So that's a solid 10 evasion with just the agility plus 20 on there. Now, yeah, if I had the dex, I would have the accuracy go up, but I already have accuracy on this cape. So unless you're trying to make a cape that's like stacking upon stacking accuracy, then I think it was fair to do the agility instead of the dex. I do. And also, I need to remind my people that are still elitist pricks about the dex over agility here, that my setup right now is trying to balance dex and agility at around the same number. So I have the maximum values for certain weapon skills that require both dex and agility to modify the damage. So that is kind of what I'm working on here. I'm trying to get it to where both of those numbers are always going to be around the same, and I'm going to use weapon skills that favor both of those abilities, or both of those core stats. Now, of course, I'm also working on Rudra's Storm, which I'll have within the next week or so. If I farm it, if I buy it, I can have it by tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and in that case, it's a dex modifier exclusively, 80% dex from what I read. So I will just work on a dex set, in which case this cape might actually get replaced with another cape. Which, I don't know, I think this cape doesn't help Rudra's Storm at all, but to be fair, I don't have Rudra's Storm yet because I am a Gimp Thief, I guess. My friends say it, so anyway. But I do have Shark Bite, and it does, according to my research, the same, if not more, damage than Rudra's Storm. And it doesn't cost 6 million gil or like a week of your life to farm for it. So keep that in mind if you're looking for damage. Also, guys, agility is easier to get and cheaper to get than dex is in a lot of cases. And if you have a master thief or close to a master thief, and your job points and your gifts are getting you your accuracy buffs, then you don't need the dex accuracy buffs, the accuracy that dex allows you to gain access to, because you'll have that already on just your character sheet without any gear. And I think you do also get evasion on thief as a gift over a series of gifts. So both of those stats eventually are going to kind of become irrelevant as far as what their purposes are outside of damage, such as like critical hit chance, accuracy, evasion, critical hit minus chance on the enemy, that sort of thing. Like if I have a lot of agility, I won't really get hit by a critical attack, which is good because I'm a Taru and I don't normally have a stacked HP. So I don't want to get hit by a critical attack. So a high evasion is actually pretty solid. But for weapon skill purposes, I'm trying to prove that Incinerator is not a piece of crap. And then one day I will have a ultimate weapon that uses Incinerator and causes an aftermath effect. That is my goal. I will do that. I'm pretty sure the Vajra is the one that gives me Incinerator, and Twashtar is the one that gives me Rudra's Storm. So I'm actually pretty sure that's right. So if I do finish my Vajra, which is on my to-do list, then I'll get the Vajra, then I'll get the aftermath effect for Incinerator, which will multiply my damage over time. While you'll see it while you're parsing, that it'll change. But also, it will give me more of a reason to actually build agility, because Incinerator is exclusively agility, and mine's fully merited. And so if I just get the Vajra and cap that out at 119 plus, then you're looking at the best Incinerator that you'll possibly ever see in your life, probably on this channel one day. So keep that in mind if you're looking to see whether or not it is a superior weapon skill. I will know within a month or so, maybe longer than a month, mostly because I don't have the mythic done yet. So we would want to test it, and we're looking at hundreds of millions of gil to get this guy done that I don't have right now. So a month would be giving me a lot of credit if I can do that in a month. So yeah, I've got an agility set that I'm working on. I've got plus 10 on this belt that I found, which was super duper cheap. It also takes a couple of attack points away, but it's whatever. I have 1,000 attack when I use my weapon skills, so 5 isn't going to make or break me. I'm testing stacked agility, so it seems good to run the agility plus 10 on the weapon skill piece. I think that I'll probably still use my Herculean gear for weapon skills, because they just have a lot of core agility on them. But I could also consider using the Skulkers set when I finish it. If I get 5/5, I'll probably just use a weapon skill with the Skulker set and without the Skulker set to see what the differences are, and I'll test that way. If I swapped the Skulker set out, it would make sense to me that I use, like, say, an equivalent set like the Pillagers set, because it's on par for its level. And so if you had 5/5 there, you would be looking at roughly the same. Of course, you could mix and match the pieces to like get better effects, but you would lose effects as well, like the set bonus effects, for example. You would have those nerfed a little bit if you did that. So with 3 pieces is Skulkers plus 1, the 119 piece, I'm looking at I think like plus 6 triple attack, like damage or something like that. I don't know. It's like plus 6. I think it's 2 for every piece. So it is yeah, it's probably around that. So if I get the other 2, I'm doing plus 10% or plus 10 or something 10. I don't know. I'll look more into it when I'm more awake, and then I'll figure that out. And a couple of other things that I'm working on for Thief. Again, since I need the agility to go up higher than the dex, or tie the dex, and it's not currently there, I do have some agility pieces like Garuda Ring. I would like to get a plus 1, but 1 agility is not that important when I can't ever find it on Auction House, and I don't want to go broke buying it. Again, it's cheaper than the dex plus 1 would be, so keep that in mind too if you're looking to just budget your guy and still have a tier 1 thief that is literally highest DPS of all thieves. You can still do it on a budget build. You don't have to pour gil into the game to do that. You just have to know how to build your sets to equip to deal your damage and to deal your weapon skill damage. Once you've got that figured out, then you're pretty good. Like, I've been shark biting for years, and I hate it. I'm bored with it, but I have a decent shark bite set, and I don't even stack decks, and I'm doing 5 figures, so if I stack decks, imagine how much more I would do. I would imagine if I did get Rudra's Storm, and I did stack decks, I would be doing about 30k with a Rudra's Storm, which is almost twice as much as a lot of players are dealing with Rudra's Storm. I've seen a few that can deal that kind of damage, but I'm confident that I will be able to, mostly because of the amount of gear I have access to on my Thief, the amount of work I've put into my Thief, the Thief being fully merited and almost Master, well, really far from Master, but on the way to Master Thief status. I will actually probably have the best Thief in the game at one day. That's my goal anyway. And I'm well on my way. I'm actually pretty strong on my Rune Fencer, which shares a lot of the same gear as Thief does, as far as if you want to tank, which, believe it or not, Thief can tank very well. Of course, you would have to have the right gear, which I'm working on. Like, for example, if I were to go to Ambuscade right now, I would rather tank on Rune Fencer instead of Thief, because Rune Fencer can still deal a lot of damage with just tank gear on, because the Great Sword is a lot of just really good hits, and plus lunge and other abilities that Rune Fencer has access to, you can tank and still deal damage, essentially. Thief can do that as well, but it would cost me a lot, because most of my gear would go towards defense and not attack, and so my crits won't be as strong. So we're looking at adding several minutes to the game, to the fight, which could potentially make it to where I don't win. It's a win-lose factor there, whereas with Rune Fencer, it's just like, I'm gonna tank you, and you're not gonna ever kill me, and my trusts are just gonna kill you. So that's what's gonna happen. I'm sorry, but that's just what's gonna happen. But that's what Rune Fencer does. You see, I don't have to deal damage, but I do. It just inevitably happens. But the fact that they share certain pieces of gear, like Herculean, if I get 5/5 Herculean on the entire set, then I will work on getting the physical damage taken -4% or higher on each piece, and just tack that onto my Rune Fencer and or Thief, and then you're looking at basically a Paladin in Thief form or in Rune Fencer form. So that is definitely something that you can do. But for Ambuscade, it gets a little tricky, because Ambuscade has breath attacks. The dragon will fire his laser at you, mostly at your face, and you take it and you die. So for Ambuscade, I've been working on a set, and I have it here. So currently I have some Legion bonus items that I'm going to be putting on during Ambuscade, especially if I'm tanking. You've got some raw stats at the top, and then when you're in Legion, 10% extra healing done when you receive a cure. Physical damage taken -2 on an accessory is really good. So adding that to what I already have when I tank is just gonna knock off more and more damage that I would normally be eating. Other items, Ambuscade ring. I mean, it fits, right? It's called Ambuscade ring. I'm wearing it during Ambuscade, so it makes sense. I don't need the accuracy +8 when I'm tanking, but I think it's a solid ring for the Ambuscade because of the fact that it's basically sitting on attack +8 and double attack +2, so you could literally just farm TP with this item. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't go double attack +3 now. When you see the Legion buff, when that takes effect, it overwrites whatever's on the ring. So it's always going to be a higher value, but it doesn't stack with what's above it, so I'm not getting +3 double attack here. It's like that for a lot of zones with this kind of content. So that's a pretty good one, and I just thought it was clever because it's named Ambuscade, so I got it. Then Beneficium Ring, whatever the heck this is called. Obviously this will not help Thief, unless of course I'm trying to do, like, say, sub Dark Knight or sub sub ninja maybe, that sort of thing. So, and you know, sub white mage, it would help because I'm not only benefiting from the cure effect myself, but I am benefiting from the cure effect myself. So that is something to consider if you're subbing white mage, which I normally do if I'm not subbing ninja. I'll be on not on the white mage or something fun like Dark Knight. But this other, yeah, we've already gone over the physical damage one. Yeah, so these pieces would be in the place of, let's say, these pieces, which currently is just an attack and an accuracy buff, a subtle blow buff, and a set bonus dual wield buff, which I don't think is a whole lot, but I mean, I think the versatility on the other pieces is pretty solid. So I have it macroed where it would swap between this set and that set. So if I need to cure someone, I just be like, bam, Ambuscade. If I'm getting hit in the face, bam, Ambuscade macro. So now I'm going to have my Ambuscade set on. So that will give me a little more tankiness and survivability in the E-ring slots for Ambuscade, which will help soloing. And now this is for all jobs as well. And then I also have the triple attack to maintain hate and damage output, and the subtle blow to stop feeding TP. Basically, these two items here. The dex kind of helps with crits. The store TP helps get to weapon skill status. And the strength just overall just deals damage every attack, more damage each attack. But I'm usually going to crit when I attack, so my auto attacks need to have a high crit chance and a high dex in order to deal a lot of damage. And dual wield helps a lot because I get to get more hits in. Haste also helps, but you're seeing that I have a lot of haste, so, and a lot of triple attack effects. So the damage will get there, and then when I get to TP status, I change it out. But in these two slots, I would be sacrificing my double and triple attack plus 3s, which is okay because this is an level 89 item and not a level 99 item. Now, on principle, I should have all level 99 for level 99 plus content, even though this is a godly ring that everyone uses at some point. It doesn't always have to stay on you, and -3 triple attack is not going to be a deal breaker. So you swap that out for the other set, which was I'm trying to remember. Okay, which was the double attack and the accuracy, and then of course the other piece was the magic accuracy and occasionally, and you know, this I might manually put back to whatever it was before because I don't necessarily think Thief is going to need this, but it's clever. It's clever, so I'm definitely going to use it on Rune Fencer if I'm soloing and tanking on Rune Fencer. I think those are solid. Instead of the triple attack, which is okay, but not the greatest. And the subtle blow is also not as important if you're tanky. So, I mean, we could swap those out and be way more tankier, and more tankier, that's the word. And in addition to those pieces, I've been doing some browsing on the auction house, and I found some more stuff. And so I'm going to put that on, and I think, let's see, I think I put it in my wardrobe already. So there is this body piece. Okay, this is magic accuracy, which is not the same as Ambuscade, so I will not change that. So the Ambuscade set, I think, is here, but there's one other piece, and it is the helmet piece, that's right. So this will help me, I think. I'm not 100% sure, because it's not item level 119, but I just bought this. It was super cheap, and it says breath damage taken -4. And I'm thinking, okay, so what do I have as an alternative? What am I normally wearing? Okay, this Skulker's Bonnet, it's a godly item. It's literally your best thief item, like, period. I don't care what anybody says. This is your best hat for thief, and there's nothing better. But for taking a breath attack to the face, I think you should macro this in. And since I have a macro for Ambuscade, I might as well apply it and then get the breath attack -4 on the battlefield. Because here's what's going to happen. They're going to hit you sometimes for 20, 2,500, 2,000. Let's just say for easy math, they're going to hit you for 2,000 damage. Now 4% of that, I hate math, but that's like 80 hit points or something like that. It's a lot. It's something that you could avoid by having the -4 breath damage right there. Could be a deal changer. because I've been hit by the breath attacks on Thief and one-shotted, and I've been hit by the breath attacks on Thief and dropped down to very, very low life, like we're talking 50 or 60 life points here, which that minus 4% would definitely keep you alive enough to get a cure and not get one-shotted. So this is anti-one-shot gear if you're playing Thief, and I think it's going to be a permanent slot for Rune Fencer while I'm tanking Rune Fencer, because the other alternative is Squaremoth Mask, and the magic damage that is on it, the minus 3 magic damage, doesn't stop breath attack damage. So unless it's just straight up minus damage, I'm not going to put it at that slot. And I have minus physical on the legs and the feet, and I did at one point have minus damage on those, but the only benefit for the minus damage was the breath attacks, and there's only the one fight in Ambuscade that I'm even worried about breath attacks right now. So I think the minus plus extra minus physical damage was better than the minus extra physical damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, the global damage minus having a lower value was not as good. And I still think I like that better, especially on Rune Fencer, because you're using magic defense on Rune Fencer primarily, so you're going to actually have a lot of magic damage resistance, and so you don't need magic defense. So your global damage taken, of course it's going to be a lower value to maintain a level of fairness, but I don't think that it's worth it. I don't think the fairness level, I think it kind of undervalues the item. Like, damage taken minus 3, not as good as physical damage taken minus 4 in some situations. Also, you could get physical damage minus 5, which is amazing. So I want that on all of my pieces. But this is a start. Breath damage taken minus 4. If I find some more stuff on Auction House that does breath damage taken, I'll probably buy it. It's probably going to be cheap. Again, this is not a level 119 item, so I would only macro it in for the breath damage, and then after the breath attack's done, I'll swap it back out. But I think while it's on, I'm not completely vulnerable. I think while it's on, I still have a pretty strong amount of dexterity and agility, which are my core stats. If I look at a if I look at my Skulkers, it's plus 33, so the 24 that I would get, I'm losing some there, but it's a brief item that I'm going to be taking off soon, so no big deal. It doesn't get I'm losing, basically I'm more worried about the 100 defense that I lose, because the hat here has 100 defense, but the hairpiece does not have 100 defense at all. It has 0 defense, as a matter of fact. But I don't believe defense is a huge factor during a breath attack. I think it's level and HP, and I think it's also whatever the damage taken minus is. So that, I think, is the best way to avoid breath damage. So I think losing the defense on the hat is worth it. I'm going to try it and see if I like it. If I do get one-shotted with this hairpin equipped, I'm going to throw it away. I'm not even kidding. I'm not going to keep something that I bought to stop me from getting one shot, and then I get one shot, and it's not happening. So anyway, I've been rambling, and we've probably been filming and streaming for an hour or something. So I think I should go do some content. And what I wanted to do was some more Ambuscade, just to kind of prove to people that are curious that it is soloable and you don't have to wait for a team to actually do this content. Most people these days, they'll AFK and they'll wait all month long to get Ambuscade done, and they'll be at the last minute where it's getting rotated out. Like any monthly event like this, it's getting rotated out, and very last opportunity that you have to do it, and now you have to spend all night on the game and doing that specific event, nothing else that anyone else wants to do. And believe me, at the end of the month, no one's really going to want to do that event anymore, because it's already been being done all month long. So you're not really going to you're not going to have very good luck there. But never fear, because you can solo this and I'll show you how. It's actually quite easy. I don't know why I'm checking my delivery box. It's a habit, force of nature. I can't stop it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go on your level 99 Beastmaster. If you don't have your level 99 Beastmaster at the ready, then you might want to consider going back a step and leveling your Beastmaster to level 99. And then once you're there, you can carry on to the next step, which is to support Black Mage. Now, when you notice that your Black Mage is level 99 and you support, of course, you're going to expect a level 49 Black Mage, and I have a level 49 Black Mage, so we're good to go. But if you don't have a level 49 Black Mage, it's no big deal. You only really need a level 17 Black Mage, and you don't even really need that. It's basically just a free ride home, that's it, and there's other ways to do that now, so you don't have to have Black Mage. But if you don't have Black Mage, shame on you, because you can't help your friends get a free ride home. Maybe they're on cooldowns on their usable items. Maybe they're stuck there. You want them to kill themselves and then go home that way? Because they're going to remember that. They're going to remember you forgot to bring Black Mage and you didn't help them out. And they're not going to be happy with you. So, just something to think about. Anyway, gear on Beastmaster doesn't matter, of course. It never does. People will say it does, but it doesn't. Not for this content. You could be naked. Maybe not naked. Yeah, you could be naked. I could do this naked. It's no big deal. I could prove a point and be naked, but it would be slower and messier. So, let's not do that. I will tell you one thing. You definitely cannot do what I'm about to do with no equipment on. Like, that is me talking out of my ass. If I say that you can do what I'm going to show you with no equipment, that is me talking out of my ass. And if the game ever gets to that point, I'm just going to throw my hands up in the air and quit because I built all that gear and now I don't even need any of it. Are you serious? Okay, so the first thing after you're geared is you go to the second thing, which is to go to a zone that allows you to kill dragons, because dragons are what's in Ambuscade, and the key item you can only get from killing dragons that give you experience points. So most of you that are watching this are just laughing at me because it's like the end of the month and you've done this a million times. But if you haven't done this any times, I'm just going to show you the process. It's pretty fun. And if you have never soloed it, you're in for a treat, because a lot of you are usually just like, oh, I don't have all of my dragons killed, I need help. Like, come Pwns, come help me. No. No, I'm not gonna come help you, okay? Do this yourself, it's the easy thing. I'm just kidding, I'll probably come help you. I'm a sucker for this zone anyway, so... So bam, now I'm in another XP area. This area is a nice, fun little XP area, and it is a dungeon, and it is a very special dungeon in that there are no other dungeons in the game like it, and it's similar to Ambuscade, for example. And so if you're going through this zone, you'll see a lot of cool little things, and one of the things that stands out the most is the level cap difference between all the monsters. If you've played this game at all, you'll have remembered that the monsters are all roughly the same level in each zone, and then as you go to another zone, immediately they jump up like 5 or 10 levels, or down 5 or 10 levels. But you see, they're never really like some high level, some low level necessarily, and if they are, the gap is not but a few levels. And that is to preserve the ability for the player to actually traverse the zone at a lower level without worrying about being defeated by every other monster. Look at all these players with their trusts. Look at them. You could make trusts for this. It would be worth. You don't have to make trusts. Do I make trusts? I don't know. I could ask my channel and see what they think. The first thing, well, the third thing, we're on the third thing now. Yeah, that's right. The third thing is to set up your macro. Or you can do it manually, but I'm lazy. Enough button pressing already, right? I'm gonna wear the keys down on my brand new laptop, so can't have that. Okay, so I'm gonna make a high quality pet, and I'm going to use Bestial Loyalty to do so. And since I'm not actually playing Beastmaster in the event, I don't care about the cooldowns on Bestial Loyalty. If, however, I was playing Beastmaster in the event, note to all those Beastmaster mains that are doing this, You don't want a bestial loyalty out here. You want to use your normal beast and just use a reward if you have it. Because if you use bestial loyalty out here, you're not going to have it for the event unless you're super ahead of everyone else, because they're going to really be ready to go and they're going to be in the zone, and the zone is only a 30-minute fight, so you will have bestial loyalty at the end when it's no longer relevant. So just keep that in mind. Part of me wants to trust, but the trusts aren't really going to do anything, so I'm just going to YOLO. YOLO! YOLO! Okay, so I'm going to put down my pet set. Yay! This is a set of equipment that gives me damage, resistance, and defense, and it gives my pet a bunch of stuff, and I'm just showing off a little bit right now. I will die. I have died here before, so it's about time. You just use your macro that like does your pet ability, and you do that in the nick of time, and if it hits everything around you, you stop getting hit and your pet gets hit. So and also your pet like literally takes half of everyone's life away, like with one ability. And the ability that I'm doing, if you're curious about it, is I can use the run wild as well, because I am, like I said, I am leaving. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, run wild. See, I don't even have to heal this guy because he's a high quality pet. It's Tegmina Buffet is the name of it. You can use Pwnsalot blades. That will work, but it hits in a cone and not in an area of effect. So I only think I hit the one that time, which is kind of meh. I really wanted to hit more than one, but I didn't actually make my my pet attack the ones in the back. But like now he's kind of aimed in a way that I could see him hitting multiple targets with Pwnsalot blades. And he did? Yeah, he hit 2 targets, but the second one didn't take much damage. Sad face. But anyway, yeah, Tegmina Buffet is the one that basically kills everything. You just like press the button and put your weapon away and watch your merit point roll up on the screen. And that's it. It's a 2-shot. It's literally like, if you're naked, you could probably still do a 2-shot with it. We can find out. Do we do it? I think we do it. YOLO, right? That's what we do. Just take everything off. We don't need gear. Gear's for suckers. Watch there be like somebody on my stream that says, you know, there's a command line that you could just type that says unequip everything. Yeah, it's called equip set. Anything that you, anything that you haven't already set is already defaulted by nothing, so you could, but I think it's just keep the same piece as the default, so wouldn't really work. You could make one. I'm dead. That thing's gonna hit me. Okay, he's not gonna hit me. Okay, he's gonna hit me. Okay, he hit me for 450. Okay, so I'm naked. Yes, but still, the Tegmina Buffet, let's look at the damage. The whole point was that I could still deal lethal with Tegmina Buffet as a 2-shot. So we see 4,000 and 3,000. We look at the other Tegmina Buffet, I hit for 6,000 to 9,000. So almost twice, two to three times more with gear. Yes, 2 to 3 times more with gear. So, I guess I lied to you guys just now. Literally just now. Because I'm doing at least 2,000 more damage with my equipment, but I have bad equipment on Beastmaster, and my point is you could play Beastmaster with no equipment. Like, that's still 7,000 damage right there. No equipment necessary, and you can still crank out those numbers, several thousands of damages, and that is with no gear. So you're good to go. And I also, mission accomplished, have the Ambuscade primer, so I don't even care. This is a free ride home. Thank you. I didn't even need Black Mage. Thank you, game. That dragon was hitting me like a truck. But that's what happens when you go into a dungeon naked. You get whipped and tied up And sometimes you get your face put in the dirt. That's what happens. So, we've already done, like, what, 3 parts of this now? Like, part 1, get your Beastmaster out. Part 2, equip it. Something. Part 3, like, go out there and bash face. With, like, no skill. No skill necessary. Guys, it bothers me. I just gotta take a moment here. I know I've ranted, but it's my stream. I can do what I want. So, I need to point this out. When I was level 75 on Beastmaster, I played the shit out of Beastmaster, and I had the best equipment you could want on Beastmaster. And as a matter of fact, at level 75 cap, I had already decided what relic weapon I wanted to build before mythics were a thing, before Empyrean or obviously Aeonic or anything after mythics were a thing. There was the relic weapon, the OG ultimate weapon. For any MMO, they all have one. If they don't, they're doing it wrong, okay? Ultimate weapon, prestigious players, elitist pricks, those kinds of people, that's your target audience. You want to make it as frustrating for those groups of people as you possibly can. And it'll be fun for them, because they like... They're kind of like sadists, masochists, sadomasochists. I don't know what the gamer term is for someone who likes to be challenged and dragged around the entire game for days upon days, and almost dying of starvation, by the way, because you're so sucked into what you're doing that you forget to eat. That kind of guy. I don't want necessarily to know what the word is for that, but it would be nice for what I'm trying to say to know that word. But that's fine. I don't know it, and my brain is deciding that it doesn't want to come up with the new word for that. So let's just say that there are some elitists out there, like myself. I wasn't really that bad, but I did have a great Beastmaster. And I had the relic, the idea for the relic. I had it all planned out. I had started farming the currency for it. I had gotten the weapon that I needed, the materials. And then, level 75 cap was still there, but we had mythics. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Do I still want the relic over the mythic? And I looked at some of the other mythics, and I'm like, oh god, I don't even think I want a relic axe anymore. I wanted to get Beastmaster's axe. I still remember to this day, without even looking, I can tell you that the name of the axe is Gutler. And I can also tell you that in the Wings of the Goddess expansion, there was a Gutler that actually spoke to the player. Not the player, but the owner of the Gutler, which was an NPC, not a player. The Beastmaster's Gutler talked to him, and I'm like, oh man, I know mine won't do that, but just because you have a Gutler in this universe, in this Final Fantasy world, that can talk to you, I want a Gutler, so I can be like, hey, this is like that Gutler's cousin, other Gutler, and he does talk to me occasionally. You just can't hear it, because you're not in tune with the beasts within, you know? Like, that kind of guy. So that's what I wanted for the longest time, and then I'm like, no, I want a mythic weapon, and I can't get both. They're both ultimate weapons. You have to pour all of your time and energy into these things, so eventually you could get both, but you want to really do one at a time, otherwise you're going to be working on it for years. By the way, I've been working on it for years. I'm still not even there. So then, level 99 comes out, and this is where the story kind of comes to a close. My Beastmaster was no longer wearing the best gear in the game because there were level 99 pieces that I did not have, and then the item level increased, and then I got to the point where I had a Beastmaster that was so far behind, I was wondering how all the other Beastmasters were staying in the game. And then I saw some well-geared Beastmasters doing their thing, and I found out right away that all you really need to be a good Beastmaster is some defense and some evasion, some good working mechanics and some working knowledge of how the game's played and how the Beastmaster role is played, which you should have at level 99. And also, you need to have equipment that has buffs for your pet. That's it. Like, Helios spats. Summoner can equip this, and it has Avatar gets magic accuracy plus 15 and blood pack damage plus 6. Okay, Cool. And so that is an idea for a buff on an item that affects your pet for Summoner. But for my Beastmaster, most of the top tier Beastmasters, we're talking creme de la creme on this server, are using Acro Breaches, well, the Acro set, which is a set of, I want to say skirmish, Alluvian skirmish armor. I know that's right because I've been farming it. I have the whole set almost, and all the important pieces anyway, and most of the gear has things like this, where it's just like some damage taken minus and some other abilities, like whatever. It doesn't even matter what the abilities are. Eventually you're going to want to do like all accuracy, attack, and damage taken minus. But if you don't have that, that's fine, as long as you're getting gear for your character that makes your pet stronger in some way. Because trust me, Beastmasters, you might think that they get up in there, but they don't. They used to, but the game has come to such a I guess just a nightmare to play within melee range these days, that you have to have, literally, you would have to have the best gear, non-specific to Beastmaster, that can allow you to sustain damage, like a physical damage minus set, which you would have access to on Beastmaster, but this is the trick, this is the catch. If you put that gear on, then your pet no longer has his buffs, because you took that piece of gear off. So you either get a mix between the two, which gives you a half-ass Beastmaster for melee range, or you get a superior, might as well be a warrior, with a pet that misses every other hit, or you get a backline job summoner type guy that has a really badass pet that's just going to smack things in the face. And in the grand scheme of things, the pet is going to be stronger than the player if you have the best gear for each. You're not going to have to worry about keeping up with your pet. Your pet is already way ahead of you, and the game's going to continue that way. Beastmaster is really strong. They can charm they could charm monsters that are several levels higher than them, and they can keep them charmed for a while. And then, of course, they have Familiar, so they've always had Familiar, but it just allows them to control these huge, nasty beasts for a long time, and no other job in the game can do that. And so you might as well work on that, because that's what you do. Most people are like, oh, how do you play Beastmaster? Okay, well, you dual wield axes, and Beastmaster doesn't natively have an axe skill, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it does have a shield skill. I don't really worry about it because I'm always backlane job, but I do believe it has a shield skill. Yeah, 186 is not a black mage shield skill either. That is not capped, by the way. That is my shield skill, 186. It's one of the least used equipments that I actually put to use. I don't really play Paladin a whole lot, which is really the one way you're going to level that. But Beastmaster is pretty decent at leveling a shield, and that is because if you are not subbing Ninja, then you're probably subbing White Mage or Dancer. And if you're not subbing Dancer, then you don't have the dual wield effect. And so you're not going to have dual axes. And most Beastmasters are screaming at me right now. They're like, why the hell wouldn't you have dual axes? Well, jackass, the axe is not your bread and butter all the time, okay? You have other options. If you are playing with two-handed weapons, you have access to staves, you have access to scythes, and you have a decent scythe skill as well. You have access to daggers. So it's not all just axes. But most people do use the axes because they're specific to the Beastmaster, and they give you the best beast-specific buff, and that's all the players are going for. So it doesn't even really matter how much damage is on the axe. Of course, bigger is better on this, but you don't need it. You just need the buffs for the pet, and that's it. And unfortunately, they don't have anything in the scythe category or the dagger or the whatever category for a Beastmaster to actually benefit his pet with, which is unfortunate. It really is.
but it's okay. If they wanted Beastmaster to use those weapons more, then they would have given him a higher skill in that. But it does give you the option to mix it up a little bit if you need to. Like, I don't know of any axes being able to steal MP, but a dagger can steal MP. A staff can steal MP. There are things a scythe can do that the axes can't do, and so if you're trying to be versatile, you would have all four different kinds of weapons available to you if you're a main Beastmaster, which I was for a long time, and I did have quite a bit of shields that I played. I used more shields on Beastmaster than I ever used on Paladin, by the way. Most of them had pet-specific effects, and this is because Beastmaster without a sub-job doesn't have an offhand weapon, ever. He's got a shield. And so, of course, there will be shields with Beastmaster-specific buffs on them. There's some reward shields that are still used to this day, and I really hope that we see more level 119 shields for Beastmaster, because you don't have to dual wield on Beastmaster. Sure, you get an extra axe, but understand that the axes that you get, they're calibrated as a one-handed weapon, which means that their stats are half of what a two-handed weapon would have typically, and the reason for that obviously is because they know you're going to put a second one on, and so they're accounting for the off chance, or the very likely chance I should say, that you will put a second axe on. So those stats are going to be a lot lower than what, say, a staff or a scythe would be. So keep that in mind as well. We still could possibly see a really good scythe for Beastmaster only, or for several jobs, but also helps Beastmaster a lot. We really could see maybe not a staff that does that, but definitely I could see the scythe. I can't really think of anything else. The daggers are they're overdone, so I don't see Beastmaster getting a really cool dagger. But a lot of jobs already are using daggers, so I think the game is going to try to stray away from giving dagger awesome abilities to more jobs than already have. Because you got Thief, Bard, Dancer right away I can think of that use just like nasty dagger skills. So Beastmaster doesn't need that, but they have that. I used dagger a lot on Beastmaster, especially when I sub White Mage. Because I can basically suck up any MP that I lose in a fight really quick, and I never get hit, so I don't need it to simi because I'm not meleeing. My pet's doing all that. I'm just sitting back, probably watching TV, not really even playing the game. Yeah, Beastmaster's that lazy sometimes. Of course, they did do a recent update, which I hate, where you basically have to be as close to the Moogle as I am to your pet. You'd have to be roughly that distance in order to actually do any of his abilities. Whereas before, you could do his ability from way out here, okay? You just be like, bam, okay? And then, like, I'm not even really in the fight. Like, you can't reach me, enemy. Just, like, deal with my pet. And I'm just gonna sit over here, watch TV, and spam some abilities from way over here. That's what Beastmaster used to do, and I liked it because it was a more lax job. But now, in order to do that, in a pinch, you have to literally run into the zone, like the fire zone, I should say, and get right up next to your beast, and then just use your ability. So, for those that are curious how you would get around certain AoE or conal attacks that might kill you while you do this, understand that you should be placing the monster, your pet, between the monster and you, of course, but also in a way that puts him on the edge of the monster's hitbox. Similar to if you look in the back corner of this house, you see a bed. Imagine that bed, the foot of the bed, is like the head of a behemoth or a dragon. Yeah, sure, a dragon. So it's a dragon. It's a dragon bed, and the corner of it is the front left paw of the dragon. And that placement of that dragon over there, that is about as far as the pet will be as the Moogle is from the bed, you see? So that distance is what your pet should be at against like a huge model boss. And if you're at catty corner like that, you're out of cone attack range, and you're at a decent distance from your pet anyway, is at a decent distance from the monster to where in order to get close to it, you don't necessarily put yourself in harm's way. If you were to approach your pet to do an ability as such, like imagine this corner of the rug is about as close as you would come to your pet, and you might have to go a little bit closer to use an ability, but something like this, well, now as you can see, I'm really not in the way of the dragon bed. You see, the dragon bed's just kind of minding his own business and fucking up that urn over there. I'm gonna call it a spittoon because it is a spittoon. I don't know why I have a spittoon. It's a trash can, guys. I don't know. This isn't my room. I didn't make this. Okay, I forgot. Totally not my room. I have better taste than that. I would have kicked that spittoon on that Moogle's face in a heartbeat and been like, hey, get this shit out of here. I didn't ask for this. But anyway, back to the point. Yeah, you're a pretty far distance away, as you can see. My placement versus the bed is pretty far. And you'd be safe from conal attacks from over here, but you could still you could still activate your abilities on your pet after the update. So you can kind of avoid damage. You just have to know how to play. So your placement on the map would be something like this, like in this area here. You'd come out here to cast, like, say, a cure spell or something on like a party member because you have a longer range for cure magic or whatever your support job might be. But if you want to activate your pet abilities, you'd have to come up closer, so this is where you would end up. Versus having to go way the hell over here and be in the line of fire. You see, like, this is all about placement. I always like to keep my beast pets at an angle so I can have the farthest distance in measurement from the boss in order to sometimes avoid the area of effect damage abilities that they have. So it will help you if you do stuff like this. For sure. But yeah, so anyway, we did use the Beastmaster to get the Ambuscade key item entry. So now I think I'm going to go find the Ambuscade key item. I don't know what I want to play. Let's just do Thief again. Okay, so support job. I noticed last time that I did it, I didn't really use cures, but I was also on easy mode. So because I'm doing it again, and I'm filming, and I don't want to look like a retard, I'm going to try to do what I just did, which was easy mode, and it's going to be level 114, but it's a lot harder than you might think, because the level 119, which is technically my level, pretty much hands a lot of 119 players their ass, so just understand that the 114 is actually not super duper easy. It's just manageable, I would say, for higher level players. For higher level players, it's probably really, really easy. For like max level players. But every player has their own kind of tier that they're at. Me, if I were to rank myself on Thief and not be biased, because I'm really not biased, I know that I have better equipment than almost every Thief on this game. But I would say I'm still an S-class, and the reason why is because I do have the equipment. Yes, I do have all of the pieces that I would need to play Thief, and I have higher quality versions of those than most players do. So I'm ready to deal damage and do my job. But I don't have a ultimate weapon yet, so that will not get me the SS, and I do not have Master Thief status yet, which is also, in my opinion, what would get you the SS. That said, I don't need an ultimate weapon to have one of the top 5 strongest weapons in the game. You know, I do have, you've seen my gear if you've watched my channel, I do have an Ippitam. It does have a flexible amount of augments on it, one of which is a dexterity plus 14, the other of which is an evasion plus 10, and then the third of which is a haste plus 3. That's about as diverse as you're ever going to see on anything that I build. That was all random chance that I got those buffs. I could augment it several more times to get different kinds of combinations of buffs, but I like what I have. I do. I like the 10 evasion because I can use that dagger on, say, Bard, for example, get the extra evasion out of nowhere, and that's just really nice. I have the dex, so it's almost like I have 7 more accuracy on it because I have the 14 dex. So that's convenient. And the haste is good for you know, dual wielding or TP building in general, and the fact that it's Ippitam means that it has some solid damage because it is a high level 119 plus item. So it's on par with all of your ultimate weapons. I wonder if this guy's gonna buy anything from my bazaar. Nope, he didn't. He just decided to look and then leave. Jerk. I'm just kidding, I love you. Let's go kill us a dragon. A real dragon. Not any of those sissy dragons in Eshka, but a real dragon. One that has a beard. That's what makes real dragons in my mind. They have to have facial hair. A full-grown beard. And I have to be able to use it to get a black belt that I'll never use. See, I made a joke, guys. If you're a monk player, you'd think that was funny. Okay. I'm not even gonna wait, YOLO, go right in. We're gonna do regular Ambuscade, and we're gonna do easy. 114 level. This should be a cake. I might lose a trust, but I won't lose the fight. Shouldn't lose the fight. That guy's glowing over there. I think he's a thief. That is definitely a Mandaw that he has on his waist. And he's using mostly Taeon gear, which I have all of it. Probably better than him, honestly. I don't mean to I don't mean to brag, but I think my Taeon gear is better than his for sure. I have some really good Taeon gear. I've spent millions on this Taeon set. I don't have as good as Shantaro does though. I think Shantaro has several sets of Taeon gear and they're all perfectly augmented. That was hundreds of millions of gold. But I would say I've probably spent 100 million on my thief. I could make that argument. And it's just gonna go up and up and up. If you guys have seen my character sheet, I'm fully merited now. I don't really have any merit that I could put in any slot that would help any of my level 99 jobs at all. And the only thing I could really do is re-merit some of them for like different events, which is hilarious, by the way. I knew one day I would be able to do that. I would be able to just liberally like throw merits in whatever stat that I want at the time, and then go back in after the event and clear it all out, and then lose all those points completely, but not even care because I've got all these points that I can add. So I was waiting for the day, and I'm at that point now where I'm just like, oh, hey, merit, okay. What am I gonna do with these 12 merits? I don't know. I mean, like, everything's maxed, but you know, these combat and magic skills are missing a few, but I'm not using those abilities, and then all of my 99s are just like maxed, and these are not 99 yet, so I don't have them. But all the 99s are maxed. I'm just like, okay. Kind of boring. I wish I could go higher. Sometimes just wish I could just put infinite merits on my character sheet, but I guess you have to have a limit or you wouldn't be a level 119 anymore. You'd be like a level 200. Okay, if you're gonna solo, you might as well do Unity Concord. And also the reason for that is because you can do things like set an objective for the daily events. Daily objectives, I've got that set, but the Unity events, the shared ones, you could do vanquish multiple enemies, and then you could set up like vanquish enemies with the Unity leader. And so if you have Aparuru out, you get credit for it. And if I do 10 of these fights, then I just get that finished, and I didn't even really try to do that one, it just happened. I think that's it though. I'm maxed out on ROE stuff, so the next thing we're gonna do is we want some kind of tank, and I like Amchuchu because I like trains, and his name kind of her name reminds me of a train. But what's up, Amchuchu? How you doing? So yep, I'm gonna get Amchuchu, and then I'm gonna get Managing. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Don't even really care. He's a robot. He doesn't care either. So yeah, so I have enough party members now to actually beat this thing, pretty much. But I'm gonna fill out the party with some sustain over time, which would be your red mages and such. So, not Karaha. Let's go with King of Hearts, and let's go with Quotata. There we go. So now I've got a roundabout party, and I have 2 tanks, so I don't have to worry about it. This is the hardest part for a lot of people. First off, your breath attack is going to go through shadows, so ninjutsu wouldn't help you on the pull here. If you're fighting this guy and you're normally playing sub ninja, that's great, but you're only going to dodge like the area of effect ground pounds that he does. You're not going to dodge, and that takes 2 shadows away, by the way. You're not going to dodge the breath attack. There's no way to dodge the breath attack. So you just have to anticipate the breath attack. And so, because I've played this enough, I know that I should go to my macro palette for my thief that I've created. And I should set it up. So the macro palette I'm using is this one. And the first thing I think I should do is put on a damage minus set. So bam, we got the damage minus set on. So this is my damage minus set that I have. And then on top of that, I'm going to go down and put on my Ambuscade exclusive set. Now this is the part that most people don't do. They just make a whole new set for one event and then they throw it away. You can recycle these if you do them in parts like that. Like now I can just swap those few pieces out for the Ambuscade exclusive pieces. And then of course, like I said, I did have that one item that I won't benefit from, the magic accuracy one, but we'll go ahead and give it a shot anyway, because it does quicken magic casting, and I do have like stun and such, so maybe I can do something. I don't know. I doubt I'll be able to do anything with that magic accuracy. We'll see. The next thing on the pull, it's very important not to kill your whole party. In this zone, the breath attack will one-shot a lot of players, especially at higher level dragons. This 114 dragon will probably put us in the yellow. So I'm going to run this way, all the way over here, and then I'm going to aggro it. And then he's going to cast Thorn Song, and then he's going to come after me with a breath attack. Flame breath, look at that. I'm at red already. I'm going to die. Sorry guys. The breath attack wasn't supposed to hit me for that much. Okay. Look at that. Get the cure spell from Aparuru after I engage, of course. That's the one problem with trusts. They won't actually do any actions on you until you attack the monster. And this guy has a spikes effect, so you gotta be really careful attacking him with low life. Yeah, so the rest of it's kind of simple. It's just like, I'm just gonna go ahead and get up in there. So put on like, say, a triple attack set that has nothing but triple attack effects, and just like smack as much as possible. I have these 2 other macros that I've created. One does a bunch of buffs, and the other one does a lot more buffs, and also follows up with a weapon skill. So that weapon skill, if I do it correctly, will do 5 figures almost every time. So I'm the damage dealer, essentially. The rest of these guys are just jokes. They're just hanging out, as it were. And I'm such a good damage dealer that I know if I sneak attack, trick attack any of these squishy mages, it's not going to matter. They won't die. Normally they would, but if you know how to play this game, then you won't have that problem. Watch. You have to understand who's in your party. You have Amchuchu in your party. He's actually a really good tank, but even if it was me and his slot, like as a rune fencer, I could hold this hate. And that 20k shark bite that I just did, wouldn't, if somebody else did that and I was rune fencing, nah, it wouldn't matter. I'd hold hate. You can deal 20k as much as you want until you're blue in the face, because you know what else you get access to? You get access to Accomplice and Collaborator. So if I were to take Accomplice and hit Kultana with it, I might pull hate, and definitely if I hit Amchuchu. But if normally you would use Collaborator here to get rid of his hate. But because I'm just testing to see how much hate Amchuchu can hold, I do the Accomplice instead, which is twice as much enmity loss, and I gain twice as much. So if Amchuchu was any worse at tanking, I would have pulled hate right there with Accomplice. You will typically pull hate with Accomplice. It's kind of like your provoke on Thief. So I'll just come back over here and remember that the Kultana doesn't have He doesn't have the 20k damage worth of enmity that I added to him slash King of Hearts, which could very well possibly have eaten the trick attack that I had. There's another 21k. 24k, sorry. I read that wrong. When you get to a higher level dragon, like 119, 125, 135, your damage output's going to go down by about a third, about two thirds. The highest difficulty, you can, if you want to win, you're going to want to at least hit weapon skill damage for 5,000 or more. I typically do 8 around that ballpark against the high level, or you know, in some of the screenshots you guys have seen on my Facebook, I've hit for like 13,000s in that ballpark. But if you're at least hitting for 7 or 8, then I would say you're doing a fantastic job. You also have to consider what you're doing in between weapon skills too, like the damage over time. I'm using a triple attack set. I've showed most of the pieces already. It's just pieces that will allow me to just attack really fast and as many times as I can. So now I'm already capped out on TP. I've been capped out for a little bit. And I don't even have a food effect. If this was a very tough battle, I would probably have put a food effect on. Always want that food effect. It's undervalued. And they're cheap. I mean, don't be stingy and not get it and then lose because of it. That's a 10,000 shark bite, but that was because my trick attack in the first part of my combo actually hit with an auto attack, mostly because of the haste that I had. I have a small delay between my 2 macros that I use to do my abilities. Normally when you see me play, I'll be in my job abilities and I'll just be like spamming all this. But I'm just playing around with different combinations, and for consistency and to test damage, I have to have a scientific control. So I have a specific macro that I do with a specific equipment attached to see what my results will look like. And then I'll swap out just like one variable at a time, whether it be equipment or a weapon skill, like which weapon skill I'm doing. That will also be a scientific control. And that's going to basically help me determine what is the best way to play Thief. So one day I'll be able to sit here and look anyone in the face and make a YouTube video explaining this is how you Thief, and there's no other way. But there are other ways, and that's the great part about this game. You could play so many different ways. Like for example, I'm using Soul Eater on Thief and Last Resort, and I'm pushing 20k damage, 24k at one time. You know, without Soul Eater and Last Resort, I'm still hitting for 5 figures. And I've trick attacked those guys how many times now, and they still haven't pulled hate off of Amchuchu. So this is literally easy mode. If I wanted to, it would be a struggle, but I could probably just attack this guy and go AFK for 20 minutes, and then be done with the fight when I come back. So if you're trying to farm, in this game, and you're trying to get your hallmarks done for your monthly items, and no one's wanting to party with you because you smell bad, or you know, whatever the case may be, if you're on during downtime like I am right now, then this is how you would do it. This is how you would farm. And sure, I took, how long did I take for that fight? I'm guessing I took about 10 minutes for that fight. My bestial loyalty was used in the zone previous to the fight that I went into. You guys remember me using bestial loyalty. So if I were to go back to my Beastmaster, I would suspect that the 20-minute cooldown has expired and I can use bestial loyalty again. If it has not, that means that I was even faster than I thought I was. So we'll go ahead and check really quick what the cooldown on Beastmaster's bestial loyalty is. Okay, so while talking, I'm able to have a bestial loyalty off of cooldown, so it's ready to go again. I've done a lot of talking and filming, and I was really slow. If this was me playing at my typical pace, where I'm not streaming and I'm just like grinding, I would still have a Bestial Loyalty on cooldown for about 6 minutes or so after this. And to tell how long I was in the zone, if you recall, I did use my 1 hour ability, which is not familiar. It was Perfect Dodge on my Thief. But it shares a cooldown with all the other 1 hour abilities in that slot. And this one is on a 52-minute cooldown right now, which means the fight took 8 minutes after my Perfect Dodge, and I opened with Perfect Dodge, so the fight was about 9 minutes. And if you're not killing it in that kind of speed or faster, then you're wasting your time. If you're going to sit there, hear me out on this, if you're going to sit there and fight a very tough battle for all 30 minutes of the fight, and then, because I'm pretty sure they are 30-minute timed fights, and then after that, either time out because you didn't win, or not deal enough damage and not win, or die and not win, you don't get your 300 points. And if you do get your 300 points at, like, say 29 minutes in, great, I'm really happy that you got your 300 points. I can do it in 3 minutes. I don't need 30. The other 27 minutes are me going for a walk. You know, like, I'm done. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes to kill him with master jobs at the level, at the highest level difficulty in the tier 2 bracket. Obviously the tier 1 bracket is not against the dragon, it's against orcs. It's a completely different fight, and they are higher level, but that's a completely different video. We're not doing that one. That one probably will take a party, by the way, or I'd have to go super easy mode. But this dragon, I fought him on every difficulty. I know 300 is the most you can get, and I know that with the wrong group, with the wrong setup, with noobs on your team, no offense to anybody that's new, you will be there for 30 minutes, and you will fail every once in a while, and you will waste a lot of time. Like last night, for example, I was playing with some players, and they were not as good as my previous players, and some of them were doing it for the first time even. These guys played with me for about, I would say, 4 hours. 4 hours, you guys, we played. And we did Ambuscade. All 4 of those hours was involving Ambuscade. After everything was said and done, I made 600 hallmarks. 600. That means we won 2 of the very tough fights. If we did the very difficult, which I'm pretty sure we did. We won 2 of them in 4 hours. It gets that bad. You have to be prepared for the rage sometimes. But in 4 hours, if you're looking at what I just did, I made 75 hallmarks, which is about a, let's just say for easy math, it's about a fourth of what I would get. It is a fourth of what I would get if I played the very difficult mode, and it only took me 8 or 9 minutes to do it, so round up to 10 minutes for a player that might be a little weaker than I am, 15 tops to do what I just did, and you're making 4 of those, you do 4 of those, and it's about 40 minutes of your time, and you've gotten the same amount of hallmarks as I couldn't get in a party last night, and you did that solo. So don't think for a second you can't solo this. It's actually quite easy. So while we're poking around at the end of this video, because I do think I'm going to wrap it up, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit more about the system. Do I need support job Black Mage? I didn't last time. I just died, and I was happy with that. Okay, I'm putting Beastmaster back on because this is a wash, rinse, repeat process where you're just going to go back out and do some more Ambuscade after. And because you can solo it, then you might as well, because we're getting towards the end of the month. So time to start taking it seriously if you want all the cool stuff, which, by the way, I'm about to show you. Show you what we have. Okay. So we talked to this guy, and he tells you a little bit about Ambuscade, which is similar to a lot of other special battlefields. It's following the same kind of pattern. You go in, you fight a boss with this special item. Item disappears. And then you get some loot, and that you can't get anywhere else. And then you get like a point system added to it, where you can add points and then spend them, like DKP. Like, you know, you just get all these points, and you get all these fun stuff with those points. You go to your rewards tab. This is where it all matters. This is where the magic happens. So, Abalgis is the guy that made these zones in the story lore. He's made a lot of zones, but in my opinion, this zone is probably the best creation that the game has come up with, And so I would say this is a Baldur's masterpiece. If you're going to stay in character, just to kind of give you a little bit of an inkling of the storyline, because I've always been a fan of the Baldur's guy. So anyway, so we could get some more information from this guy, and he'll tell us what exactly the Baldur's has to say about the zone and what your purpose is. But it's mostly self-explanatory. You really don't have to read much. You could just look at this. The one thing that's tricky is, like, what's the difference between these two top items here, where your rewards are actually stored. One of which is I can purchase an item with hallmarks. So I have 150 hallmarks. So I could be like, okay, 150 hallmarks. What can I get? Some 50-point items, but I don't want to really buy anything like that because I can get that stuff later or from the auction house or whatever, you know, because it's most of that stuff you can buy. It's not exclusive. These capes are exclusive. You can only get them here with hallmarks, and that's it. So you want to save your hallmarks for capes. And in addition to that, the capes are only really good when they're fully augmented, and in order to do that, you have to go to the very end of the capes list and then buy these items here, the thread of Baldur's thread, dust, and sap. These items here you can actually use to craft with your cape and make it stronger. And it works with every cape, and they're all unique buffs that you can get. I'm getting a continuation of what I had already started on my cape, which I hope I'm doing the correct thing on Beastmaster. I don't know. I don't play it enough, but I do think that it looked appealing when I was building it, so this is what I'm going to go with. So I got the thread, and I already have the cape, so I need to pull the cape out of my storage. If you guys know, I'm pretty well organized when it comes to this game. You have to be when you have this much loot. That's what I get for playing Thief, pretty much. So I do need to pull out my Beastmaster back piece that I got from this event, which is Ardio's Mantle. I already showed you the Tutatis' cape. It's maxed out. I could swap the agility for Dex if I really want to. It would just cost 20 of those threads that I just showed you. Pretty sure it's the thread anyway. So that's like 2,000 points or something. I don't know how many points that is. It's a lot of points. I don't want to have to mess with it. And we'll leave the agility on there because I'm happy with it. This item is the one that I want to actually augment. So I don't know why I just equipped it, but we're just going to show you. This is the second cape that I've tried to craft, and it's almost maxed. It's getting there. It's got some slots left before it's done. And where is it? There it is. So this guy will have evasion and magic evasion plus 20 when it's done. And it's at 14 right now. Understand that there's a glitch in the way that the script was written on this item, so that $ isn't supposed to really be there. That's all code. I think it's actually PHP or Perl. It might even be Lua. I don't know. Anyway, oh, it could be C++ too. But anyway, whatever language this is, the reason for it is the space between magic and evasion wasn't accounted for. I know that because I'm a programmer. But anyway, so that buff will go to 20 when it's done, and hopefully they fixed the glitch on the magic evasion section. And the haste is going to go from +9, +10, I think, when it's done. And the accuracy attack and all this crap on the bottom is going to be all +20 when it's done. So right now, I think I'm going to raise one of those stats. Probably not the haste one. Probably one of the other two. I think the accuracy and attack one is the one I'm picking here. Yeah, +15 now on the accuracy and attack. Okay, so I could put 5 more points into that one, so I need 5 more threads. I could put 1 more point into the haste, the pet haste, so I need 1 more sap. And I could put 6 more points in the evasion, so I would need 6 more of the fibers, whatever one's not the thread and not the sap, you know, like there's 3 different ones. And so that's 6 times 100 plus 5 times 100, that's 11, so I need 1100 points plus 200 for the sap, so I need 1300 more points. That is going to be around 16 or so solo ambuscade runs on easy mode. I could literally go into the zone and let my trust do all the work, wash, rinse, repeat 16 times, and then I would be done. And I had I would have had no help with anybody on this. So if you're sitting around not doing that, like these guys are in this zone, they probably all want their capes finished, and they probably all want their hallmarks. But a lot of them aren't going in. But you can go in. If you're relatively well geared, or if you're just on an easier setting, you should be good to go. I think that guy that just disappeared on my left, well, my right, but your left, it probably actually went in for a solo fight, looks like. Good for him. This is how you're going to be doing it. There's no other way, unless you have a group on that will do it, because on my server anyway, it doesn't seem like very many people want to party up for this. Which I think is really stupid, but that's just me. They probably just don't want you to waste all of their time. Like I said, 600 hallmarks in 4 hours is a very slow grind. That's less than 100 an hour. I'm making almost 100 in 10 minutes. So, and that's solo. That's with no, for lack of a better term, no baggage gets me that kind of a income. So if I was doing per 10 minutes and I was grabbing like 100 sparks, or I'm sorry, 100 hallmarks, then I let's just account for the time it would take me to farm the item in another 10 minutes. So every 20 minutes I'm getting like 175 to 100 of the depending on what setting I go on of the hallmarks. So every hour, if I did this at a maximum speed, I could push out 300, which took me 2 hours in a party to do that. So you're literally, as a solo player that knows what he's doing, you can potentially, or watching these videos and learning from the players who have already done it so many times, you could potentially double your speed of actually getting this whole process done. And the reason why it's a process is not necessarily because you have to buy those capes, right, and those buffs for those capes. Of course, they also have all this other fancy loot that you can get, and all these other pieces of loot. You have a limit on how many you can buy from the guy each month, right? So eventually you'll have so many hallmarks and nothing to buy. But that's when it gets interesting, because once you have that many hallmarks and you're good to go, you've got all this loot you can sell for mad gold. Some of this stuff is really expensive on the auction house. And of course, you're going to use it in your own character development as well. This is all really good pieces of gear. Like here are the boulders that I was looking for right here. Bam, I needed those, so the hallmarks can get them. Everything you could ask for like upgrading your equipment outside of Ambuscade, it's all here. And then of course your Ambuscade is specific equipment, and then the augmented system for this specific equipment is all here. Yeah, sure. Once you're done with all that though, and you've got nothing left to buy, well, you could still you'd probably be done with hallmarks for that month, but the next month you'd be reset to 0 and do a whole different set of prices for that month. So that's something you could look forward to. And it's pretty easy to get caps like that on hallmarks. It's like you've seen how fast I've killed it and got the hallmarks, so just imagine how fast you can do it each month. A couple weeks and you're done at a slow pace. But this is where it gets interesting. There's this items available for total hallmarks. This is what's going to change every month, I know, and it's going to be different stuff that you don't have access to ever again. Probably more likely though, they're going to put it on some sort of loop where you don't get this set of equipment for several months, and then another Ambuscade way down the line puts this equipment back up for a reward. So maybe that's what they'll do. But I know they're coming out with a new set for next month, which is a couple weeks from now. So you got a week or so before you're done. Now, you could get this set. It's the Warrior Paladin Dark Knight Dragoon set. It's pretty good. It's not the greatest, but for what it does, it's pretty solid. And if you farm hallmarks like crazy, notice I have 11,750 for the month. You could eventually get to a point where you get all the high quality stuff. And all this stuff is free. Like if I wanted to, I could get this Solivia's leggings right now, and it wouldn't take any hallmarks from me because I've already earned a total for that exceeds this number. So I can always claim these gifts one time. These are gifts, okay? These are not actually items available for total hallmarks. They're actually gifts available for total hallmarks. Okay, you're not actually buying them. You're just proving that you farmed the hallmarks for that month, that you were able to afford that gift. So I've already gotten everything except for the normal quality armor, and my thought was I'm just going to throw it away anyway when I have the high quality armor, so I'm not getting the normal quality. I need the inventory, guys, so I just can't do it. So most of this other stuff I've gotten. The Super Re-Razor, I think I can buy that one because I don't have one in my inventory, and I'm pretty sure I bought the last one from Auction House, but I might have gotten it from... Nope, I did not get it from this guy. So I just got my Super Re-Razor gift for 280. I noticed my score is still 1175 for the month. Or 11750, I should say, for the month. What else don't I have? I think I've already gotten all of the pop items for like your behemoth and such, so I can't do that again. I'm pretty sure anyway. I could try, but I doubt it will let me. Yeah, see, hang on there. You've already received that selection. So yeah, you get each gift once per month. I'm pretty sure I've already claimed all of this. Oops, I clicked on it twice by accident. So yeah, what I'm looking for now is the next thing that comes after the 1100 item, the 11,000 item, I should say, which is on the next page at the bottom here. I've gotten all of this, and you get to the next page, and it's lots of numbers. I've gotten the Sylvia's Quizzes +1, and I've gotten the Cleric's Drink, and the next thing on the list to get is the Sylvia's Plate Mail +1, which is the last piece of the plate mail of the set, the high quality set. So if I get this for what, say like another 2,000 hallmarks, so like I don't know how many runs that is, 40 if I'm soloing. So yeah, I could do it, and then I'd have that. I could just do the very difficult one with some friends too, and if I'm fast enough, then I can do it just as fast and then still have it at a faster rate. Eventually, if I'm bored and I really want it, I'll get this Mega Elixir here. But here's what's going to happen. I'm going to get this Mega Elixir, right? This is a Mega Elixir you can carry around. It is the first time you've ever gotten a Mega Elixir reward in the game that was allowed to be carried from zone to zone. Every other Mega Elixir you've ever had in this game has been a temporary item that you can only use in a specific zone or set of zones. This Mega Elixir I can use wherever the hell I want to, including my Mog House if I'm that bored. Of course, once it's gone, and I can't get another one. I only get one. So my thought is I would only ever use this Mega Elixir for an emergency and or to show it off in my inventory. So it's pretty much inventory -1. So I may not farm it, but if I'm really bored after I get the plate mail, I might just help some friends get their plate mails. And then while I'm doing that, get the points for the Mega Elixir and then tote it around because LOL. Because that's awesome. That's like a second life without re-raise and no weakness effect, and just like, hello, I'm full stats again, let's go. And then after that, of course, you just got these Gobby keys, and from what I understand, they're just as basic as the other Gobby keys. I've talked to some players who've gotten them all, and they're just random. It doesn't matter. It's just like you can get this Gobby key, and then you can get another one, and then you can get another one. There you go. So you get 3, and then you're done. And then the game's like, you've had enough Ambuscade for the month. Get out of here. But yeah, so you could solo this. You could solo this, and you probably bought it. Don't say anything to anyone, but you could probably go in there and just like run a bot and do it, and not even have to be there. So, just a few ways to play, I guess. But anyway, I think it's dinner time for all good Tarutarus. So I should let you guys go, and maybe you guys check out my channel later and watch some cool stuff. I'll probably do some more cool stuff after dinner. Well, thanks for watching.